Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Leeds are shit. We're recording, you know.
Oh, shit.
We had a good start. I don't think we've got the personnel.
You can fucking laugh all you want, you absolute bellend.
I think about things. That's why you lot are idiots.
A melted version of a dick that's been shrink wrapped.
The absolute elite shithousery of this. Good evening and welcome to a bit of an impromptu Ought to Know Better. This is the Berardi and Coke aftermatch podcast that we tend to do it the day after. And I just got home and I just messaged Luke and I went, the lads are doing a main pod tomorrow and they were going to talk about the game in that as well. I'm fucking wide awake, so I'm not going to be sleeping anytime soon. Do you fancy doing one tonight? You've had a bit of a hectic time, though, haven't you, Luke? You've had a little bit of a hectic time.
Yeah, you got me out in the bath, and you might notice that this isn't my usual setup, and my hands are like little aliens and that. Because I'm half moved into a house at the moment, but this was too good an opportunity to pass up. I thought them twats are not doing. I'm not doing all the shit being season, all that all season, and then having to give up a Chelsea win at home. Fuck that! I'm not giving it up.
No chance. No chance. And we're joined by, I think it's the first time you've been on with us, isn't it? I think we're joined by Dylan.
Dylan's been on.
You've been on with us before?
Just once.
Good man. Just got try and sum before we actually get into the game. Just try and sum up how you felt at full time.
Starting with me.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
That feeling at full time, just pure ecstasy. I think. I like I say, like most people, I was not expecting it at all. Like, it was way better performance than I ever thought we were going to put in going into the game. I think from the first minute, absolutely battered them, and the feeling after the game, it was genuinely just excitement. Like, I just fidgety, can't move. I'm absolutely buzzing, like genuinely buzzing.
Good man. I mean, we will get into the game, but Luke, me and Dylan were talking just before we came on air about what we thought about whether Farke would go with the lineup, or the formation, should I say, from the second half of the City game. When the lineup came out, were you surprised that we'd done that, or were you thinking, yeah, fair play, Farke, you've gone for it?
No, do you know what? It was a much needed change up on it, and we saw from that second half at City, we won that second half 2-1. Against a very good City side. We've now played City and Chelsea, and then in the time we've been playing 3-5-2, we've scored 5 and conceded 2 against Chelsea and City. I was shocked. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think he had it in him, Daniel Farke, but I think he's in the position now where he knew that stubbornness, that natural stubbornness that he's got. And I rate Daniel Farke. I still think we've been playing half decent football, just the results haven't been following and for suit, unfortunately. But he needed to change something. He needed to, because I think it was slowly fans were getting on him. You know what I mean? Everything you read online was Farke or Aronson's fault, and ultimately they can't sack Aronson, so Farke would have been in the firing line. So for me, it was a welcome change, but I think he had some fucking bollocks to do it. Start with it. I think I said before the game, I was talking to a few Chelsea fans that I met when I went down to when I was at Sky. You know what I mean? I was big dogs down at Sky. And they were like, I was like, this is the first time Daniel Farke's I've ever done it as a 3-5-2 at Leeds. Certainly, I think the commentator said on telly tonight that he'd done it actually for Norwich against Leeds in the Premier League. But yeah, take some cojones to do that against the world club champions, self-proclaimed or whatever, the best team in the world or whatever they are now. But yeah, no, it was good, mate, and it worked, and we just looked such a better team, man. And do you know what? I think the players wanted it more tonight as well. I think we're giving a lot of credit to Daniel Farke, but as Dylan said, from the off, you could just tell they were up for it on a Wednesday night, and Chelsea weren't, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately for them, unfortunately, I suppose. But it was obvious who was the best side in terms of class and the players they've got, and that you look at the subs they brought on, how much their subs were worth, and all that sort of stuff. And But ultimately, I think Maresca said it right. He said sometimes you've got to have better than quality. And our lads, just every single one of them outperformed their opposite number tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. They all stood up, didn't they? So I think. So did you both watch it on telly?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, the atmosphere and the build up, it was a strange one. I think because of the time of it, and obviously it being a night match and so on, it's a little bit different anyway. But the concourse was busier. It was like people had just gone straight to ground instead of like going off and having a beer beforehand and all of that sort of stuff. And so the atmosphere was a little bit strange in the build up to it, but just before and then into the game, the atmosphere kind of it was like Elland Road just woke up, and it was like obviously it can be on a knife edge sometimes. Elland Road, can't it? There's times when it can have that edge to it, and you worry that transmits to the players. But actually tonight, I think the positivity did. So I'll come to you first. Did that come across on telly, the atmosphere? Could you hear it that Elland Road was noisy on the night?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely hear it, especially at the start of the game. It was something which definitely came through for me, which, not always you can really get a feel for the atmosphere, but you could definitely hear both sets of fans at times. I was saying, like, I was watching it with my dad, and I was saying, imagine what it must be like being in there tonight. It must have been absolutely amazing being in that crowd. And like you say, the first 15 minutes, especially when that header goes in, pure ecstasy of the stand. It just looked and it sounded amazing, to be honest. When looking at the clips and things like that, and like you say, watching on telly, it did look good, and it came through on the live feed, like the whole game. It just didn't sound. It was never really a quiet period from the way it came across, and it just felt like everyone was going for it, and I think the players fed on that really well. When probably you would have said at times the players can sometimes feed on negative energy, they really fed on the positive of being behind a home packed, pumped up Elland Road tonight. Yeah,
no, good. I'm glad it came across, because you can't always tell, and they can manipulate sound and whatever else. You're not entirely sure how it'll be presented. So so I think that's an interesting point, isn't it, Luke? I think there've been some criticism of the performances recently, that people saying maybe lethargic, are they not fit enough? There were a few times that I've said and others have said, it just looks like we're rolling over for our belly tickled. 3, 4, 5 games ago, we didn't look up for the fight. That was totally different tonight, though, wasn't it? You can't say that they weren't up for it tonight.
Yeah, I think that's a little unfair. I think probably the Brighton game, and who else did we play?
Forest.
Forest. Yeah, I think fair enough.
It were those two really that I meant.
I think
not 4 or 5 games, but
yeah. I think over the course of the season, we have looked up for it, and I think that fire in his belly was back tonight. I think you made a good point there about the atmosphere on a knife edge, midweek game as well, bit cold. Did the lads? Did some of them really fancy? We're in a relegation battle against some world class players, but. Yeah, I think in terms of where the squad's at, that squad is not a lost dressing room. I think that's the biggest point. I think these talks of Daniel Farke out and stuff, I could have got behind if I felt that he'd lost the dressing room at any stage. But week in, week out, other than those probably 2 games, arguably, I mean, some people will probably tell me in the comments that it's been more than those 2 games. Burnley away, still felt we were the best side at Burnley away and probably should have got a result. But they're not a lost dressing room. Each and every single one of them still wants to play for each other. They're still playing for Daniel Farke. They're still united, and we're still side before self and all that sort of stuff, and all the other quotes that we go by at the club. But I think that's the real positive that we've got going into this part of the season. These 3 games were always a worry. I truly thought that our goal difference was going to take a real hiding over these 3, including Liverpool. We've come away from City almost unscathed. Probably on another day should have got a point. We've beaten the champions of the world or whatever they are, and then we've got Liverpool coming on. We couldn't be playing them at a better time at Elland Road. So I truly think that this team and Daniel Farke and the management team, I think there is something there, and I think that's probably why the 49ers have stuck it out this long. They probably have recognised that, and it's something probably I've had in the back of my mind that's kept me on that fence about Daniel Farke, because I don't think there is anybody out there who could get a finer tune out of this playing squad. It's obvious we're not competitive on paper when it comes to playing the majority of this league. In fact, probably only arguably Burnley have got a worse squad than us, and that's arguable, in this league. For me, I think Wolves have probably still got on paper a better squad than us. They're just not.
It's just been awful.
Just been awful. So I think based on that, and I think the target being 17, and people ridiculed Daniel Farke for saying that the other week. Our target is to finish 17th and stay in this league, and that is his goal. And if he can achieve that goal, then we move on. Then we move into next season, and then is Daniel Farke the right man to take us forward then to finish in the top half of the bottom half of the league between 10th and 15th targets? Maybe is the target next year. But look, we just played like gritty, dirty, big bastards tonight, and it worked for us. I think there's something like 500 touches from Chelsea players tonight, and we had completed passes, and we made probably about, I think it was 100 and something. LUFC Data tweeted it. But that doesn't tell the story of the game. We actually looked more likely to score than them all night, realistically.
So I've got the stats here. I can just quickly run through. I've not even looked at them, to be honest, but I've got SofaScore open. We had 29% possession today, 71. We had an XG of 2.82 today, 1.1. We had 2 big chances today, 1. 17 shots today, 14. But in terms of passes, they had 672 passes and we had 261.
Yeah.
But just in terms of how impactful that is, that the possession actually does not at all tell the story of. It's not the tail of the tape, is it? It doesn't tell the story of it.
No, we did more with the ball. Quite simply, we were direct. We played the ball long, and it was frustrating me actually with Perry when he was kicking it. When we were trying to settle things down a little bit, it was frustrating me when he was kicking it long. But that was obviously a tactic that we brought in. Hit it long. Let Metcher and Calvert-Lewin get up, and we'll work off scraps, because we're against a better side. Like man for man, they're a better footballing team, and there's no doubt about that. So yeah, it looked like the tactics worked, and for me, Daniel Farke got it spot on tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Just on that then, Dylan. So from a perspective of that lineup, somehow having the 3 centre backs on the pitch at the same time, not only does that free Goodmanson and Bogle up to go and do whatever it is that they want to do to impact the game, but in defence and attack, but it also seems like Strike was stepping out quite a lot in the second half, but Rodon looked like he had a lot of freedom as well. This formation just seems to lend itself, especially to the side itself, but especially to the defenders.
Yeah, I'd definitely agree with that. I mean, I think you noticed a lot of times, like, I thought Goodmanson for me was man of the match. In my opinion, I really rated his performance today. But even nobody had a bad game, but the back three especially, I mean, Beal, probably wasn't his best in recent weeks, but it was exemplary today, I thought. I thought he was really good.
I thought Strike was really good as well tonight.
Yeah, Strike,
he's
had
best
his
game
critics
for a long time.
I mean, to be fair, Strike coming off the back of the Man City appearance, he dealt very well with Haaland, because that would a worry of mine before the game. Will Haaland just completely dominate whoever he's up against, and he didn't. So yeah. Fair fucks.
That's it. I mean, it's not really since we've sort of missed having being able to have our centre backs push out with the ball and get on the ball and play a bit, and just watching them all playing around the Chelsea players and just absolutely bossing it. I feel like that's got to be our plan A from now on. It can't be plan C or D anymore. I can't believe it's taken us this long to even start a game with this system and this formation with these players, because even playing 2 strikers up front, and it was just to watch them. I know you mentioned you weren't really too pleased with Perry and his kicking it long all the time, but it worked, and it was exactly what we needed to bypass their press and get it down. And I thought Stack had probably his best game, in my opinion. For us, I thought he was incredible, and Ampadu, I know he got man of the match, but you could have given it to anyone.
Did Ampadu get
it to anyone? Ampadu got it for Sky. Yeah, so I do think though you genuinely could have given it to anybody. I trying to pick one for man of the match is so hard because you sort of feel like you're leaving somebody out because everybody was 10 out of 10 for me. Couldn't fault any of them.
No, absolutely. And I think there'd been a lot of talk by the Chelsea fans and by pundits alike about Esteval before the game. Luke, I mean, it happened in front of me because I were in the cop, but I were on the northeast lower side and I was right up front. So Gudmundsson were playing in front of me in that first half. The way he dealt with Esteval was just incredible. He totally bossed him, didn't he?
Yeah, I did my player analysis. So every week we have to do a pick a player for analysis. So those of you who know, we have to pick one player. And I said he was instrumental in defence. He made Esteval look like an 11-year-old, and in attack, he made Chalobah look like a 10-year-old. He was just that good. He was that good tonight. He was my man of the match as well. Dylan was Gudmundsson. I thought we'd find it really hard to replace Junior Firpo based on last season. I thought really struggled, but it seems we've found somebody with just the perfect balance of attack and defense and everything that goes with it. He's got some wheels as well. He can move. He's not scared to try and go around his man. Shows nobody any respect. And the way he dealt with, like as you say, as he dealt with Esteval was that frustrated. He had to kick him. Kick him because he just couldn't be arsed chasing him. I think we've got real gem in Gudmundsson and very early shouts for my player of the year.
Yeah. I mean, if it keeps going on that sort of form, it'll take some showing to beat him. I mean, Dylan, you said it's really difficult to name a man at the match because there were so many big performances. I thought you're right. I thought Biol, not only were he absolutely solid, but even solid with the ball at his feet. Because a lot of people have said, "Oh yeah, he's great in air and he's good in a tackle, but he'll just have to give it to somebody else to pass it around." He wasn't bothered. He were playing the ball. He were carrying it out. Rodon carried it out as well. I thought Rodon had another good game. But sticking with Biol, I mean, some head of that. First class, some head of that.
I mean, when you think about before this year, from corners and set pieces, we've been dire, struggling to get anyone who's got any sort of I don't know what the word is, presence in the air. And, that is the perfect start to a game. And it was the perfect corner. I mean, the ball was a great ball into the box, but to bullet the header right at the near post, I know I said to my brother, I didn't think, the goalkeeper was that great, but I genuinely don't think any keeper saves that. I said, I don't think any keeper would save that. It was just the power that he got behind the ball. Yeah. Sanchez, all he could do was pad it to the side into his own net. I don't think anyone saves that. And he did well to get away from Delap, who was marking him. I think it's definitely something which it gives us something else going into future games, having Biol on the pitch. Obviously, we knew he was good in the air before coming, but now we've seen it in practice and we've seen all three of them playing together. I definitely think it worked and it helped us out defensively, having some big lads at the back who could clear it away. And, when I won't say we were under the cosh at points, but when we had to defend, we defended well and we defended as a solid block in a line. Like you could see there was just a line of 7 players on the penalty line, and they were just not letting anything get past them. And it was the perfect performance for me. And like you say, Biol, I think was probably my favourite of the back three today. I was really impressed, and it was almost a performance that we've been waiting for from him, given the reputation he came into the club in the summer with. And obviously, he had a bit of a delayed start to the season, obviously with a suspension and then a bit of an injury. But, he looks like he's getting into it now, and hopefully they can sort of grow a partnership or a combination of 3 of them at the back and grow into it. My only worry is that if one of them gets injured, then we're having to go back to a back 4, but worry about that another day.
We saw Barnow come on, didn't we? And I think you're right. I think all 3 centre-backs, I think they had that additional confidence they had in knowing that there was another one of them there, helped them. As you rightly say, Struijk, Biol and Rodon carried the ball out, and they sometimes came out of position, joined the midfield, and then, that allowed Gudmundsson and Bogle a bit of a license to go forward. The three centre midfielders all complemented each other. None of them was playing too far forward, and the two strikers, they complemented. They played off each other, and some of Calvert-Lewin's knockdowns were literally, you can see why he played for England. If roll back the years before he was injury prone, that you can see why he was so highly rated. But another thing I just wanted to say was if somebody like Sean Dyche puts that performance in against Chelsea at Burnley, he is getting plaudits left, right, and centre from Sky, from BBC, from everyone. Let's see what happens with Daniel Farke, because he deserves his flowers tonight for me.
I agree, but I think a lot of it will probably focus, and I think Sunderland has suffered quite a lot of this season. A lot of it will focus on how poor Chelsea were rather than how good Leeds were, and I think that it's easy to say that. You look at Barry Shield, you look at Kukurea, they were abject, appalling, really, really bad. But they were so bad because we didn't let them get into their stride. We didn't look like the setup that we had was particularly porous. Yeah, I know they scored a goal, and you know what, fair play, they've scored a goal, fine, but when you get right down to it, it didn't look. I mean, I was still in the stands, shitting myself, thinking it's 3-1 and it's in 89th minute and we're going to lose 4-3 because we've been poisoned so many times by this club. But it never looked like coming off the rails. I think we looked like Dylan said, we looked so solid, but I think what's the big surprise to me, and Luke, I'd be interested in your thoughts. I don't know if you read it, but Oscar and I in the Finalysis chat were talking before the Man City game, and he was saying we've got to go to 3-5-2, and I was like, we're not going to do it. They've not trained for it. He's not done it up to now. We might have the personnel for it, but I just can't see Farke doing it. I think maybe what's the biggest surprise, even though the personnel seems to lend it to the setup, is how well they've taken to it, how quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we say quickly. This might have been a plan B all along. He's just never. He's not had the balls to do it, or for whatever reason. But I think my biggest concern moving forward with this 3-5-2 is that teams, recognize that that's how we're going to set up now, and it becomes easier to play against because they'll just play bigger bastards or bigger, stronger players in midfield, and they've got an enhancement of riches. A lot of these clubs in the Premier League that actually they've probably got a big lad who probably doesn't play that much. They're probably not the most technical, probably not the best at football, but they can come in and they'll be physical, which will nullify us slightly. I'd like to see Daniel Farke use this formation more often, but I don't want us to become reliant on it, because we saw with Bielsa, if you become too reliant on one particular style and way of playing, we got found out very, very quickly in the Premier League. And managers will wise up to it very, very quickly. If that's how we're going to play week in, week out, we've got to have a couple of different styles. And I don't think, as I said earlier on, I don't think our original style was that bad. It's the performances really outweighed the results. So I'd like to see a bit of a mixture between the two and changing it up as well. And maybe Daniel Farke getting a little bit more creative with lining up against who potentially we're going to play, and maybe playing a little bit of poker with them and make them think we're going to be playing 4 at the back, but actually starting with 5 and then moving to a 4 and whatever else. It opens up a lot of opportunity, but my biggest concern is teams work this out too easily, and we get a little bit carried away with this working. But look, while it's working, make hay while the sun shines. Do you know what I mean? Let's continue with it. And I think the very fact that even no matter how Chelsea or Man City lined up, they should have been beating this Leeds team comfortably, both of them. But they didn't. So yeah, as I say, stick with it for now for me. But I would like to see a couple of variations potentially.
Just to add on to that, I think that's it. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I don't think anybody would say just ditch the back 4 and just focus on this for the rest of the season. I think it is just what we want is just a bit of variety, surprise teams every so often, and adapt to the games. We've got this in our arsenal now. We've shown that it can be beneficial and works, and we've got the players to suit it. It don't mean, like you say, we've got to bin off the back 4, because, like you say, I don't think the performances have been that bad either in the recent games. The results might not be there, but that's another conversation. But we can still play a back four against certain teams. We can play a back four, a back five, switch throughout the games. But just knowing that we've got this that we can go back to and always know we can switch to it, I think it's good that we've got another style, and it's somewhat different, somewhat else to combat teams when they're coming up against us, especially like teams like, your big six who are usually better than you, where you think we need to just be scrappy and we need to just try and get a point, or if we can, all three, like tonight, and you see what it can do for you. And one of the things that I thought to myself is, when everyone's fully fit, if you play this team, you've got some good players that will be on the bench as well. If Dan James is fit, Nonto's fit, Longstaff's on the bench, you've got some good players that can come in and change a game. No Okafor as well. It just shows, I think, that it's a good system. And I still think we need additions in January, but it's not all bad. It's not all bad at all.
Absolutely. So I've not been able to see any of the highlights back of anything like that. So just a question for you lads. First off, the kick out on Goodmanson by Esteval. It looked to me so I were directly behind Esteval when I saw the kick out and I saw Goodmanson go down. Was it as bad as it looked from that angle?
It was cynical, but it wasn't a red card. I mean, he's tripped him essentially when he's trying to get away from him. It was a kick. It just couldn't be arsed chasing him, was my thoughts. But I think it'd been a very harsh red card. It was a kick on the ankle, just to trip him up and slow him down effectively. Is what I saw. It was naughty, very cynical. But I think if one of our players was given a red for that, you'd feel a bit harsh. I'd done so. But letter of the law, I'm not sure on the law. He probably shouldn't be doing it.
Dylan?
Nah, yeah, I'd agree with that. And like I say, he got a yellow for it. I think, if it was our player who did that and he got a red, I think if he does it at the other side of the pitch and it's through on goal, then, it's a goal scoring opportunity. But I think, in our own half and, like I say, he's done it, in my opinion, just to stop him from getting away from him. It's just frustration. And he was... And like you say, up until that point, the whole game, Goodmanson had him on toast. He was absolutely pocketing him. And I think you could start to see Esteval wasn't able to play the game that he wants to play. And he realised it wasn't going to be the evening that he probably expected. So I think that was definitely just an outlandish bit of frustration from him and just trying to stop Goodmanson getting up the field. Yellow card was fair.
Okay, fair enough. And the other one that I just wanted to ask was Metcha's goal that wasn't. I think it was offside against DCL.
They were both offside.
Were they?
Yeah.
From the first ball that came in.
I would be behind goal, so you can't tell. Depth
only just, but they were both offside. That first ball that came in, I think it was Bogle who whipped it in. Could be wrong. But yeah, the very first ball, I thought they were both on from that one. I thought it was actually the second one that came up in the air to Metcha. But no, it was the first. There was two of them offside.
I mean, Metcha didn't know some finish.
Yeah, no,
to swivel and turn and finish like that
was some finish.
Yeah,
very good.
Okay, so I just want to come back to Farke then, because one of the criticisms that he's faced from many people is the changes he made, and I were looking at the changes he were making. I was thinking, bringing Gruev on at this point. Are we going to move too defensive? Because I was praising Joe Rodon before in the Man City game for not allowing people to drop deep, because at 2-2 it would have been so easy to just drop and allow them out to be. And Rodon were pushing us out, and I'm thinking, are we going to go too defensive here? Because we've got Ampadu in the pivot. Is Gruev going to come in and sit even deeper, and Ampadu play where he was, and we just end up regressing? And Gruev were almost playing in an 8 role. There were times that he were doing the one chasing in corner flag outside their box. I don't think. I think I'm going to agree with what you said, Luke, but you can correct me if I've not remembered what you said accurately. I don't think Daniel Farke put a foot wrong at all for any of it. The setup, the personnel, the changes, the timing of the changes, because that's another criticism he's coming for. I thought he got everything right tonight.
Yeah, no, I think I said at half time, I said, look, we've done the hard part now, Daniel Farke. You've got us set up perfectly tonight. We're 2-0 up at home to the world champions. They beat Brazil, I think, the other week. Yeah, I think he's spot on. I said one of my was don't fuck it up now, Daniel. You know, make the changes at the right times when there's some tired legs. Somebody said to me, sometimes you need to leave the quality on. And I think my argument was sometimes hard work is more important than quality and work rate, and actually getting to in a game like this when you're not going to have much of the ball, having somebody who can beat three men is no good if you haven't got the ball. So I'd rather put somebody on who can chase three men. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, all the changes. I think Gruev was a great change. Thought bringing Justin on was probably a good idea at that time as well. Bogle, like, he was getting beaten by Garnacho quite often every time that.
And he is quick, isn't he, Garnacho?
Yeah, Garnacho was getting it was getting easy crosses off, which was, you know, that's just a sign of Bogle, because Bogle's defending is not bad, but when he's tired, he against some fresh legs in, you know, somebody they paid a fortune for as well. It's not, we're not just talking about a youth player here that's come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, I think the changes were spot on. I thought, do you know what? I don't think there's one thing I could not fight for tonight.
Dylan, have a mind at same?
Yeah, I'm just echoing that. I thought it was outstanding, like you say, the setup, the formation, the players that he picked to play. I thought everything, like you said, the subs, everything about it was perfect. I genuinely don't think he put a foot wrong. I don't think he made a decision where I thought, I'm not too sure about that. The subs, like you say, were made at the right times. I think he was more proactive than reactive tonight, which is something which has definitely been a critic in the past of him. But I think tonight it's almost as if he's learning from his mistakes, and I think he's seen that it's clearly what's best for the team. And I think if he can keep going as he is, I think we'll stand a really, really good chance at staying up, because like I say, I don't think there's anyone who gets a better tune out of this team. And you can clearly see that they're all in with Farke, the players. They're clearly playing for him. They've not thrown the towel in at all. So, I think until and if that was ever to happen, Farke's got to be the man. And, with some additions in January, which you expect, I do think we can start to push on a little bit and sort of try and break away, hopefully, from the bottom three, if we can leave West Ham down there.
Yeah. Fair comments, I think. And it's nice, albeit West Ham have got a game in Andover as another 3 points behind, but it's nice to be out of the bottom three, isn't it? So, I think that's fair shout. So just in terms of the man of the match, have you both picked Goodmanton? Did I hear right?
Yeah, I think it was for me, yeah.
It is so difficult. He did play so well, especially against Esteval in first half. He did play so well.
I don't think we could have. I think we could have picked any one of certainly the outfield players. I think Perry didn't have a lot to do really, apart from their goal, which was, I think there was a few people you probably could have pointed a finger at. It was a bit sloppy defensively, and Perry maybe should have done better with it. But any of the 10 outfield players, I think there was a real. I couldn't deny it. If you sort of said somebody completely different, I wouldn't be able to argue as to why, because I think everybody was 10 out of 10 outfield today. I don't think there was a poor performance.
No, I think you're right. I do. I think you're right. So I think just looking forward then, because we said we were only going to do a short one. There is a main pod tomorrow night. Just looking forward then, I think we can look to Liverpool with a bit more positivity now, because I think, there'd been a lot of rumours about, well, Farke's got to get something from these games, otherwise he's gone. And albeit that's only rumour. The club had not said that, obviously. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but we can genuinely look. We can look towards that tie on Saturday now with real positivity, can't we?
Absolutely. I don't think there's a better time to play Liverpool. They're in the shit at the minute. They drew, lucky to get a draw tonight against Sunderland. Elland Road again. I think everything's in our favour, which means we'll probably get beat 6-0.
But you know what? Going back to your point, if we get beat 6-0, that's probably still better than the overall score lines that people would have predicted across these 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, I think you're quite right. It's certainly added some additional optimism, not just for the weekend against Liverpool, but for the rest of the season. I think if we can turn up, and even if we just put that much effort into every game, we will stay in this division. We will stay in this division. No two ways about it. Because there's, you look at the teams that go down, and they do. Wolves have down tools. They're down. Like there is no chance they're making up those points now. If they do, I'll get Stuart Dallas tattooed on my forehead again. But yeah, no, I think Wolves are pretty much as good as down. And you look at the other teams in and around us, and we probably should have more points on the board now anyway. So I think for me,
certainly, I think certainly, that free own goal against Fulham cost us a point. Spurs game, I think you could really make a strong argument to say we're worth more. Bournemouth,
Burnley away.
There's a few games. Man City, incredibly. They overall, if you take away the foul on the keeper and the offside in the same goal, yeah, it is what it is. But I think that's fair. I think you're right. I'm just going to spin through just a handful of the comments that we've started as we're going. Bremner's Ghost is in the comments. Didn't watch it. Listened on Radio Leeds. The groans from the Chelsea fans were giving me a chubby. Sounds like he's enjoyed himself. Dodo said, Maresca, fair fucks to him, said, welcome to Leeds when their wonder boy Esteval was bitched by Gabby for 70 minutes. Now, I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration, given that I think you were only on the pitch for 45. But I take the point. He really needed. I mean, did it feel like it was changed at half time because it was just getting absolutely nothing out of Goodmanson, or do you feel like it was changed at half time because of the petulance, and if anything happened again, he were getting sent?
Probably a bit of both. I think it was probably an orange card that he probably should have got for that click out from, because it was behind. It was petulant, but letter of the law says it should have been more than a yellow. But for me, it was just lazy and just couldn't be asked chasing. He wasn't getting his own way. So that certainly, but he was getting fuck all up against Goodmanson, and he recognised that. Did Maresca? Changes didn't make all that much difference anyway, though, did it?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like the other week where Farke took Tanaka off purely because the official said, look, he's going to get sent off if he stays on any longer. So, he just wanted his day. And like you say, he was losing his rag with Goodmanson. So I wouldn't have been surprised if he was not far from getting a second yellow. So I think it was probably a bit of both. He wasn't getting anything, but if he didn't have a yellow card, I think he probably would have stayed on the pitch because he's one of their better players, and if they were going to create something, it likely would have come from him, potentially. So,
I mean, you say that, but when you look at the array of talent that they had on the bench, they were able to bring Neto on, they were able to bring Palmer on, and you're looking at their changes and you're thinking, fucking hell, they could come on and do something. But
imagine having Palmer, Neto, and Garnacho just to come on as behind your front three.
It's quite incredible, really, isn't it?
Those three would start for any other club, pretty much.
Pretty much. This lad must be a Chelsea fan. DJ Shatter Hennessy, I'm reading. That might not have got that right, but it says we have 8 centre backs. We need to get rid of 3. Tosin is number 1 on the chopping block. Now, I thought Barry Shield was the probably their worst player, aside from potentially Cucurella. But certainly in defence, I didn't think they had anything at all today. That combination of DCL and Metcher, and then the midfield and fullbacks getting in support of them, it really worked well. And I didn't feel like they let Chelsea settle into the game. Did it feel that way for you guys?
I didn't feel like we ever let them sort of, especially in the first half, ever really get a grip of things. I feel like we just went at them straight away from the off, and it probably shocked Chelsea more than us that we were just at it, and they probably weren't expecting a game like that tonight. And I think I think a few people have said that. I think that Rory Jennings, whatever his name is, he was saying like they just didn't get the whole thing, atmosphere behind the rivalry, and just didn't understand what to expect coming to Leeds. Like I say, a lot of those players will have never played at Leeds before. So, you know, it's a new experience for them. And, you know, I think we probably understood the heritage behind it a bit more, and we're just well up for it. And like you say, the fans will have helped. So I think that they just partly were not great, but part of them probably just were just not expecting us to ever come out in the full strength force that we did, in terms of just wanting to just go for it from the off. Probably expected a bit of an easier affair and didn't really expect us to go gunning for him like we did.
Fair.
Yeah.
Just every time his name comes up, I've got to mention it, that Rory Jennings is the one that said that Haaland would flop at Man City. So that's nice as well. I also remember somebody pointed it out today. One of the lads I used to work with, he comes on here sometimes, White Rose Al, pointed out Jeremy Clarkson's comments about how much this game matters because Leeds fans shat in his hand and put it on his head, which is nice. And then the last third comment we've got is just Deb saying thought ref was decent. He let some things go. It felt like you were a bit picky at certain points, but mostly let the game flow, right?
Yeah, I thought there was an exchange down. I think it was near the West Stand towards the end of the game when there was 2 or 3 good challenges, and Ampadu tumbled Enzo over and let all those challenges go. Strike made a great challenge in there as well in that exchange, and then rightly pulled when was it Gusto, I think, fouled somebody. So yeah, I think he was quite fair. I like to see that. I like to see that in football. I like to see a little bit of flow. Don't blow for everything. It's not about you, mate. We don't want to see your whistle being blown every 5 minutes. Let the game flow. If it's a good challenge, a strong challenge, let the game. These boys want to. That's what they want. How they want to play football. They don't want to be. Well, some of the guys probably do. You know, Garnachos and that want everything blown for them. But no, I quite enjoyed it. It was a good physical game, and we were the most physical. And we wanted to be first with the ball, and ultimately that's probably why we won the game tonight.
Yeah, fair. Richard Hogan says Gilly's turned into a crow. I don't know what he means. Is it my voice is going?
Is it the voice? Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, we're at Elland Road tonight, and my voice is going. So if it's that, then fair enough. Yeah, okay. I mean, I still haven't picked a man of the match because I asked you guys about it, and then I listened to what you were saying, and I still can't really land on one. I really rate Goodmanson. I thought he played really well. Biol scored that bullet header. I thought he played really well. Ampadu got it. He didn't do anything wrong either. DCL played really well. It's such a difficult one to try and pick, but yeah, just to be contrary and go for somebody else, I might go DCL because he was so important to us. And you know, I know what you're saying about Perry and kicking it long, and maybe we could have played it slightly differently to try and settle it and keep some possession. But he was so important to the way that we played tonight. And obviously, you know, he got his goal as well. So, yeah, fair fucks to them all, though, because, yeah, like we've all said, you'd be hard pushed to pick somebody that wasn't at least in the running in terms of the performance.
And I think just to elaborate on what you said then about kicking it long and all this sort of stuff, and Dominic Calvin, it's those people who say Farke's tactically inept must be finding it quite difficult tonight, because he's gone from being possession-based and wanting 100% possession when we were the best team in the Championship to actually gifting them possession and letting them have the ball tonight and feeding off scraps. So it's sort of it's chalk and cheese to what we're used to, but it actually is something that works. So he's absolutely flipped everything that he believes in on its head to actually change it up, and actually it's worked and we've got a result out of it. So tactically inept, call him what you like, but unfortunately, Daniel Farke is the man tonight.
Absolutely is. I hope there's a little bit of that fire beast showing itself tonight when he has a little bit of a cheeky glass of something to himself. No, fair fucks. So I'm going to wrap it up there because we've been on quarter of an hour longer than we said that we were coming on for, and we started late. Then we said we were going to start.
My eyes are bleeding.
Dylan, Luke, thank you very much for making the time and coming and joining me so late on. Thank you for everybody in the comments. The lads will be here tomorrow night. So Smarty, I think, is hosting with Jay and Carl joining him. So that'll be a main pod, but I'm sure they'll do a little bit of enjoying the match from tonight as well. Any final thoughts from either of you before we close it up?
Not really. Thanks, Dylan, for joining us so late, mate.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Good to be on.
I don't know notice as well.
I was just buzzing. Just wanted to talk about the game. No chance I'm getting any sleep tonight, so that's not happening.
Nice one. Yeah, spot on. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Just again, thank you for everybody in the comments. When the comments are flowing, it makes it so much easier to just keep going. So, thank you again, everybody. And I'll just pad slightly now while I get the outro lined up because I forgot to do that. Go buy. I don't have any around me, but go buy some merch. We've got some links. We'll share them. Thanks, everybody.
That QR code.
Oh yeah, up there. Yeah, no, up there. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
It's all the no better. We are the no much better than letting Carl go on with Jay. Luke's calling out bad weathers, and Smarty is no better, and Gilly gets fan mail again. But every time we go live,
shit take has been
can't speak or even tell the time.
It's more a toys out the pram.
It's all the
If I see his mother in
we
the
are the no
stands,
much better.
I'm
This
gonna crack
ends
an egg in
show for tonight.
It's
And if you like these weapons and you don't think they're balance, please go check out our merch site. Good night.
Little tosser, and I hate him. He's shit. He's average, and he's a shit house.